Muktanandaya Gurave Shesha Samsara Bhattakare Kadehaya Namaste Chitsalatmane Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Nilarambaya Tejase Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Om Shanti 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 Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. With great respect and love, a heartfelt welcome to each and everyone here at Satsang on this day. In the US, it's Mother's Day. And of course, as the culture has spread around the world, it's celebrated in many countries. But it began here probably in 1913 or 1915 when one lady decided to celebrate this second Sunday of the month as Mother's Day. In the Upanishads, which we've been studying, in the Shikshavali, the first salutation is Matu Devo Bhava. Before we even offer salutations to the father, to the guru, teacher, guest, the very first salutation is to the mother, because it says if there was no mother, you would not be here. So the feminine, the Shakti is honored, it's worshipped. In Maharashtra they say it as Satguru Maze Ai. We sing it in the Arati every evening, that the mother is the Satguru, because the Satguru takes care of each and every one of us as we read in the Shri Guru Gita. So it's a special week. Today also in the Indian calendar it is the month of Vaishak and the 5th day, Shukla Panchami. So on this lunar day, we celebrate the birthday of Adi Shankara. So it's Shankaracharya Jayanti also celebrated again, now all around the world, 1200, 1400, 1500 years ago. However, historians count the years. But it's been a while. And we've probably taken many births during that time. And what we just sang, Nirvana Shatakam, it is said that Adi Shankara at the age of 8 leaves home and walks from Kerala to Omkareshwar, which is where his guru was, which is in central India. When he comes in front of the guru and the guru says to him, "Who are you?" So he sings this song to him, that I am Shiva, I am consciousness, I am not all of these things. This is before he got instruction. Right? And then we had the 8th of May, a few days ago, and in 1982, which is I think 42 years ago, Bhavamukthananda performed the Pattabhishek, appointing his successors who would continue on this work. And this is a tradition that we have in India, which is Shangeri Shankaracharya still follows. Choosing somebody, training, preparing them, getting them ready to follow and take forward this tradition, which when you look up, Shringeri, there is I think the 36th or the 37th young person who's now going to be the head of that. So the elder one is still alive, still doing his work, and along with him the young one, Vidushekar Bharati, is being trained and prepared that the day the elder one passes away, the young one is ready. This is called tradition, this is called parampara, this is something that in today's time and society we think. They said, when these guys speak, they speak with such authority. It's not like you can stand and go, why? So you just, somebody else from back just pushes you up, and you're up on the stage. And then they say, stand up. So here's all these elderly sadhus sitting. Ramanji Maharaj was alive at the time, Swami Kaivalyananji Maharaj was alive at the time. Various acharyas of all of the various akhadas. And I think 1,000 to 1,500 people. And Acharya Vishwadevananji Maharaj announces, today is the 10th, tomorrow is Ekadashi, 12th of May, this very same program will take place again, and we will make him a Mahamandeshwar. And he said, for those of you who don't know, he's Swami Nityanand, disciple of Swami Muktanand, of Ganeshwari. So he said, this is the only invitation you will get. He told the whole audience. He said, nobody's going to come and tell you to come. Because nobody have to go with a car, you have to pronounce to them, and you have to say, please come. He said, none of that will happen. You just show up on the 12th. So I was like, okay. And there were devotees of Baba, Siddhi Yoga, Shanti Mandir. Some of them were upset with me and said, are you leaving Baba? Are you going away from Baba's tradition? I said, look, I know nothing. I said, all this started yesterday at breakfast, after breakfast, as a conversation within 24 hours. I said, people are, on the 8th of May that very year, Swami became a Mahamandeshwar, and it took him, I think, 8 to 10 years to become a Mahamandeshwar. There was a little internal rift, if you could call it, or whatever the word is, And here I am. 24 hours later, now 29 years later. And basically I told the audience on the 12th, I said, look, I'm a newcomer into this game. I've lived with Baba, I followed the Siddhi Yoga tradition, I understand that, I know that, but this whole sadhu samaj, which is very intricate, for those of the people who sometimes think that India or this whole Sanatana Dharma is not organized, when you realize what Shankaracharya had done 1,200 years ago, 1,400 years ago, is amazing. He took a priest from Kerala and placed him in Badrinath. He took priests from Karnataka and placed them in Pashupatinath in Nepal. And same thing in Kashi, same thing in Rameshwaram. And as you listen to a talk by Swami Mitrananda, who I shared with from the Chinmaya Mission, he says, when you begin to think what Adi Shankara did, he created places of pilgrimage. So somebody from the very tip, Rameshwaram, goes to Kashi in the east, Varanasi, or goes to Amarnath up in Kashmir, in Jammu, or goes to Dwarka. It's just amazing when you think. He created these 4 mathas. And even that has a whole system to it, which the matha of Shringeri follows rigorously, which also is there on the tour. There is Badrinath or Jyotirmath, there is Dwarka in the west, there is Puri in the east, and there is Shringeri down south. And each has a Veda associated, each has a Mahavakya associated with, each has a river associated, each matha was given their geographical location, if you could say. that in this many kilometers, you have to make sure that the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutras, the study of the scripture continues. And then each matha had one of the 10 names, or 2 or 3 of the 10 names. That we are Saraswati, so Saraswati belongs to Srinagar. So when you look up on that sheet, you will see how each matha has 2 or 3 names associated. So depending on where your guru is from, not the one you take sannyas from, the one whom actually you take an initiation from, or who you call and consider your guru. That name, as you would call it in the modern society, family name, becomes your name. So you get the Swami. When some people have made Swaminis also, but before, because once you become a Swami, there is no male or female, it's just Swami. Swami, and then you get the name with Ananda. In some, the name changes a little bit, but mostly it's Ananda, and then whatever the last name is. So when you begin to study all of this, you find out there's actually so much. Same in the Indian marriage tradition. When modern people today think this whole marriage thing, arranged marriage as it's called, they think so what is to it? But they would actually look up and find. And there were people, I remember this because when my second sister got married in 1978, because my parents were originally from Karnataka, we migrated to Mumbai, so it was not necessary that they would know everybody whom they should know in the town of Mumbai. But there was this one man who was the all-knowing person. I told my mother I would love to drive, because I just finished, I think 11th grade, and I had a little time. So I said, I'll come as the driver, this man is your guide, you go around giving the invitations. And it was interesting. When we arrive at a home, he would tell Amma, this home, you sit for 5 minutes, you talk a little bit, have water, nothing else. And then some he would say, you just go, give the card and come. And some he would say, you sit and you can have a little snack. Some he would say, you can have your meal here on the day. So he would plan a whole trip from morning to evening or night of how the cards were to be distributed. And I remember being 15 and going, how does this man, there was no Google, there was no phone or iPad or anything. He had no notebook, but he knew today we'll cover this part of Mumbai. We'll cover this because Mumbai is kind of like Manhattan, so you got to know which part of the city you're going to tackle. And sometimes he would say, okay, you know what, on the way back, we're just going to go stop here. You just go, give, and come. Because we don't have time, or whatever they do. So when you think, whoa, I don't know how many cards were given out, that much I don't remember, but I remember having 2,000-3,000 people at the wedding, because Baba came, and Baba brought with him maybe 2 or 3 bus loads. I don't know how many people came. And it was a whole day affair. Marriage used to happen in the morning, which was family and very close friends, and there was a very spiritual, religious affair. Lunch was served. Then there was a break, and then the evening was what was called a reception, where only ice cream was served. And that was it. And it was a one-day affair, and that's true. It's become very complex and complicated now because a lot of show-offs, what he did, what she did, and what they did, and people spend more than they have, and etc., etc., etc. We have event managers who manage the wedding, and it has nothing to do with the whole ceremony. Because if you ask an elderly Brahmin priest or something, it's like it was not just the physical people that were invited, but the invocation of the different gods, the different deities, the ancestors. And when you think of ancestors, you think not just of your familial ancestors, but good people who have lived in society, who have prayed then when they were physically alive, that may this continue. And this meaning, whether it's the family line, whether it's the sadhu line, or this tradition. In the evening arati we sing a shloka. Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim Cha Tatputra Parasharam Cha Vyasam Shukam Gaurapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Mathasya Sishtam Shri Shankaracharya Mathasya Padmapadam Cha Hastamalakam Cha Shishtam Tam Trodakam Vartika Akaramanyam Asmat Gurum Santato Manatosmi. So we start with Narayana, the creator, to Brahma, Vasishta, Shakti, his son Parashara, to Vyasa, to Shukadeva, to Gaudapada, to Govinda, to Yogindra. This is just naming, we just sing it in the arati and things. We just sang the verse like that. But when we begin to realize that I'm thinking of all of these ancestors, Shankaracharya to his disciple Padmapada, Hastamalaka, Trodakacharya, Sureshwara, to our tradition of gurus, I offer my salutations. A very smaller verse of this is sung in two different ways. One is Narayanam Samarambham, or some people sing as Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyama, Asmad Guru Parentam, Vande Guru Parampara. Beginning from Narayana or from Shiva up to Shankaracharya, continuing up to the current head of our tradition or our lineage. We offer salutations to that Guru. We have Ashok and Vanita here. Tumse kiti dale Sadhya number? 11th. So the tradition of Matha, they had a little problem in between. And some people didn't like Parinirana Swami. And from what little I understand, he was a little ahead of his time. He tried to break out of tradition a little, modernize whatever was going on. But then some people who are stuck in the well don't see that he's looking much further than what we are seeing, what we are able to see. So they troubled him, they tortured him, they did whatever they did to him. And for a while, they were guruless. But then, from their tradition, there was a young man studying in Mount Abu, Swami Ishwarananji. And these people who decided that the Matha must have a head. There must be a spiritual head to our organization. So they went to Swami Ishwarananji and prayed, or begged, I should say, that you give us your disciple. Swamiji said, I'm trying to make him big, and you're going to take him back into a community and make him small. But he said, with the foresight Swamiji had, he said, okay, take him. And he told him, if you ever feel choked, you can always come back. And this is what Chitra told me. So she's not there anymore. So. But I'm sure that those here know, understand, and all of us, I think, in some form or way or understand how we conspire unknowingly to make the vision small rather than make it big. When you think of this, Shruti, Smriti, Purananam, Alayam, Puranayam, Namami, Bhagavatapadam, Shankaram, Loka Shankaram. That there is Shruti, which has been heard, there is Smriti, which is remembered. These are the various books or the scriptures that we have. Purana, Puranas, when all the stories are written, and then there are stories within those stories, and you need a certain kind of brain to even remember who and what the relation and so on in those stories. So Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashakatau Vande Bhagavantau Puna Puna. So here it says that we offer our salutations to Shankara as a commentator on all of these scriptures, and we bow down again and again and again. So in our tradition, when we meet a sannyasin, the sannyasi says to the other sannyasin, Om Namo Narayana. Normal people also offer their salutations in this way, Om Namo Narayana. And the sannyasi gives his blessings, recognizing the divinity, Narayan, Narayan. And somebody the other day asked me, does Namaste mean hello? I said, not quite. I said, it's offering salutations. Namaste, Namaskara. And when we fold our hands and we say to everyone, Namaskara, I offer salutations. Namaste, I offer salutations to you. So maybe singular, Namaskara, you could say plural. And so in COVID that was very successful because you didn't have to hold hands, didn't have to hug anybody. Namaste was safe. So the sages thought of this pre-COVID. Long before that you didn't need to transfer germs or bacteria. So they thought, teach everybody to say Namaste and Namaskar. But it's not hi. Hi in Hindi is actually, कैसे बोलेंगे English में? हाँ?
वरती hi
Hi म्हणजे दुख झालं की hi सांगता? हाँ? Huh?
It's pain, expression of
Yes,
pain.
in Hindi it's an exclamation for pain. And some Indians also sometimes laugh at when you say guy. Hey guy, how are you doing? Guy is cow. So guy is say. Anyway. It's all depends on where the culture is placed and how things change. And I think all I want to share today, because since last Monday when we came back from Virginia, and I realized all of these dates and days and all of that, I thought, we have so much tradition, we have so much culture, we have so much depth that we can't even begin to fathom. If we even sit with one book, Adi Shankara, from what history tells us, 8 years of age, comes to his guru, seeks his blessings, and you look at his list of books on which he has written commentary, look at the stotras that he has composed. So he was into Jnana, into Bhakti, and he traveled the country, and he passed or left his body at the age of 32 in Kedarnath. And they say there are no relics, nothing that is left of him. He just, his parents were praying for a son, both husband and wife. Shiva comes to them, offers them that you can have a son who will live long but do nothing. You can have a son who will live short but will do a lot. Which do you want? Both husband and wife wake up in the morning and the wife says, what did you choose? Now you think that a couple is sleeping, they have a dream, they wake up in the morning, the wife says, what did you choose? And he says, number 2. A short-lived son who will do a lot. She said, that's exactly what I chose. And this isn't their dream. So they have a son. The son is Adi Shankara, Shankaracharya, who lives for 32 years, and in that 32 years, here we are today. And we are not the only ones. There's plenty of Dashnam sannyasis around the world, not just within India. So you really want to understand? I invite you to the Kumbh Mela in January. If you are not confused now, you will be even more confused. But it's a good place to come to just see faith. Because there are people who probably have all of their belongings on their head. That's all they want. They come from a village somewhere, simple people. But they have heard that great people come to the Kumbh Mela. So they come. And the system, meaning the government, organizes trains and vehicles and everything is, and food is provided by plenty of people at ashrams and so on and so forth. I still remember, I think it was the year 2001, we all got up after lunch, and everybody is equal there. Everybody is on the banks of the river. So everybody is on sand. So temporary housing is built. Everybody lives in Swiss cottages, it's called. Cottages built of bamboo. There's tents. There's lots of noise and lots of sand flying between people walking and wind. So you never know how much sand you have actually inhaled, how much you have eaten. It took me about 3 months to get rid of all of the sand from my system in 2001. Anyway, we were all walking after lunch away from the feast, from the Mandara. And there's probably a 70, 80-year-old Punjabi woman whom I don't know, and who I think knows maybe one of the sadhus, or a couple of the sadhus, but doesn't know. But in Indian tradition, we believe in the dust of the Guru's feet, Charanaraj. And so I see this lady, she bends down as the sadhus are walking away, picks up some of the sand. She has her broth like this, she puts it in there, and she puts it on her head, and she pronounces, she offers salutations. And I thought for a moment, here we are in the year 2001. Here's an elderly lady who knows nobody in the crowd, maybe, I think. But she's heard in satsang that the dust of the gurus, of the holy mans, of the saints' feet solves all problems. And for her, I'm sure it does. And it has. I don't know if it was her first Kumbh Mela or how many she had been to. That at every Kumbh Mela she collects, she takes it home. So when I say come and see and understand what Shraddha is. I mean, you can be scared, I'll get COVID. You can get COVID living at home with nobody visiting you. I don't know how, but it does happen. Because I've seen people, I know a lady who didn't come from a village, she didn't want to step out of her house because she said, I'm going to get COVID. Sitting at home, she got COVID. I think so her son, daughter-in-law, the labor coming and going, what? We don't know. 180 of us lived in Mogod and we didn't get COVID. And we didn't wear a mask. But we had a wonderful time. One person was responsible to go out, purchase, bring everything, and his duty was to make sure he did not bring the virus into the ashram. Because I said to him, you bring it, you will be responsible. We'll beat you up. None of us have gone out, so we know we are not bringing it in. That's how much responsibility you have to take and be sincere about all the procedures that need to be done. Come home, take a bath, change clothes, whatever it is that needs to be done, you have to make sure that that is done. And he did well. Because from the time lockdown happened in India, which was, I think, March, April, May, June, July, I think 3 or 4 months, lockdown was lifted, but we remained tight. Because there was, from little children to elderly people, and we had the most wonderful time together. India was the quietest, like it is here right now. We were up every day at 4 a.m. and I think we went to bed around 11 p.m. Because everything within the ashram was done by all of us who lived within the ashram. We were grateful we had a cook. We were grateful that we had the man who took care of the cows. So the milking was done by him, the cooking was done by the cook, but all of the prep, the cleanup of the ashram, the maintenance of the regular daily ashram schedule went up well. So I was thinking over this week, I've often invited people to just come, join, be a part, support. And I've talked often of the game of soccer, the game of baseball, the game of cricket, and then there are players in each side of the team. There are spectators. But no member of the team on the playground can think, I'm just on the sideline. The ball will never come to me. You have to be alert. You have to be aware. You have to know that the ball only could come to me once in the whole game. But that one time is important. It's the same with satsang. No matter what role we play, within the ashram, within the satsang, within this, our role is important. I tell people, the person getting up to clean in the morning, the person getting up to cook breakfast in the morning is just as important as the pujari getting up to do his morning puja, morning ceremony. Neither can think I am better than the other. Because no breakfast, you can imagine, and no pujari, you can imagine. There the gods will be not happy, because he'll be sitting there waiting for the pujari. Here the devotee will not be happy, waiting for his or her breakfast. So either way, both of them are important. So an example that came to mind was, you take a balloon or a volleyball or football, soccer ball, and you think of a little pin. And those of us who don't support, who don't go along, we are like that pin that pricks. And we think, it doesn't matter, nobody will notice my little prick. But it matters. Because eventually the ball will lose air, the balloon will lose air. And imagine you're not the only little person, a person doing the quick. There's so many others, I think all over time have wondered, how long will this last? How long will this continue? How long will this go on? But yet, this, what is called Sanatana, eternal, has continued. Here we are today on the 12th of May, 2024. How many years later? It's up to your imagination. And just us here, Chet was like, oh my God, I met Baba in 79, that means how old are you? And there are some here who met in 74, 73 maybe. Myself in 62 from birth. From the womb, I say sometimes. That's a long journey. And here we are, we've survived. We've survived all the pins and needles along the way. But that shows the resilience of the one who has committed and dedicated himself. The Srimad Bhagavad Gita talks about dhriti, fortitude, the sattva dhriti, the rajas dhriti, the tamas dhriti, and the difference in all of them, and the determination to continue. Issues take place everywhere. They exist. Even when you get your hair dyed, sometimes a person misses one hair, one root. You've gone to the best of dyers, the best of hairdressers, and yet, I haven't done it, but so sometimes you see two women talking, and then you hear, this is the secret. It's like, and then you wonder, I paid X dollars, I went to the best place, everybody recommends, and still they missed one. I tell them, sometimes if I know them well enough, tell them it's fashion. And look at me like, what? I tell them, you know how much I paid so they would miss this one or leave this one here? Wanted to see how many of you noticed. Seriously, I mean, it's like we get so serious, I think, sometimes, and just we get caught in the mind game. We get caught in our own trip. And we just, instead of becoming lofty, instead of like looking at what else can we do to become wow. So many of you have read this story that there are meetings like this, and one man stops going to the meeting. So in fact, they always talk about the same thing, the same people, stops going. So the main person realizes that this person has not been coming for the last few weeks, few months. So he goes to that person's home, like last night after Saturday Kirtan, knocks on the door. He says, come in. When he goes in, he sees this person sitting in front of his fireplace. The main person doesn't say a word. Just grabs a chair, sits down. And as he's looking at the fire, he takes a log and moves it away from the fire. And then sits back down. For all of you who have a lit a fire, have a fireplace, when you take a log and take it out of the fire and put it on the side, eventually the log stops burning. The fire starts to diminish, the fire starts to go away. And before that fire completely goes away, completely dies out, the main person who is visiting picks up that log, puts it back in the fire, catches fire, it starts to burn again. And after a little while, when the log is back, lit and everything, he simply gets up and he goes away. Not a word has been said between the two men. But by demonstration of this little act, he shows to him, united we stand, divided we fall. That when you sit away from being together, from coming together, you'll eventually die out. And that death, physical, will also actually leave nothing that you have contributed in society. You will not be like Adi Shankara, thought of 1400 years later for something you may have done or you could have done. The possibility that exists. I mean, you could think, which is, I think, a modern day thought again. Them again, got to deal with them. What do I do with them? Well, the question really is, what do I do with myself? What is my narrative? What's going on in here? When you think of the verse that Dana spoke of last week, Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam. Yad Jagatyam Jagat, Tena Tyaktena Bhunjita, Magridaha Kassasvidha. So, in the Ishavasya Upanishad is the first shloka. Everybody knows this, whoever studied the Upanishads. They know it because it's the last and shortest chapter of their Veda. And they have it memorized, the whole beast, and I think 20 verses. 14. And so most students who come to us, they learn the Shanti part, they learn the Ishavasya, and they feel that, okay, I know something. But here he says, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. So if you can hear in detail from Lena's talk last Sunday, the 5th of May, it's there on YouTube. What the sage here wants to tell us, that divinity created all of this and exists within. So you'll hear the Swami who talks about it. It's different from the carpenter who created the table. The carpenter is there and the table is here. carpenter is Dave, and the carpenter is not the table, and the table is not the carpenter. But here, Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam Yat Kinchat Jagatyam Jagat. The Creator is as much a part of His creation and pole by pole. And how should we live in it? It says, Tena Tektena Vanjita Madhurya Kasvasita. Live life, enjoy life. There is nothing about enjoying life, but live life with a sense of detachment. Swami Kashikananji Maharaj was a very learned person of our times. He was called Dwadasha Darshana Kalana Kesari. He lived in Mumbai. He divided this into 4 parts and he said, look at it as Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. The 4 ideals of life. What is my duty in life? What should I be doing in life? How should I gather wealth? How should I become free? He said, if you understand this verse, all 4 of your ideals in life are understood and you are free. And of course the verse goes on, the Upanishad goes on, and a lot you can simply sit and study. And Adi Shankar says, study. He says, understand the Vedas, understand the Upanishad, understand these teachings. And so, wonderful people come along. For example, here Shadi Mandir Warden, Jeff Linda, who visited us in October, got into his head and said, Devyani, what about the next phase? What do you want to do next? How do we go? And then he said, we just go across the rail trail and start there. Because we have developed this front part. Let's go. We have it. So that one thought, they say, Ekoham, Bahusyam, I am alone, let me become many, is what the Creator has. So in the same way, an individual has this thought, let's do something, let's move forward. So that has, propelled a thought process. They were like, yes, yes. And of course, the pricks are thinking, his mother was joking there and said, will I get my own room? But I still have to share. And you start thinking, wow, wonderful. This is the next part. It's going. Something's going to happen. What will happen? We will know when it happens. But the limited mind wants to know the details. Who's the contractor? Who's the architect? Who's going to make sure that it happens? But the truth of fact, when you study the scriptures, you ask yourself the question the scripture asks you, do you really think you are doing anything? Ask yourself, really? You set an alarm at night to wake up in the morning. Are you sure you will wake up tomorrow? Bhaskar just sent me a message. There's a man from Goa who lived with us in Baba's ashram. And there's a Swami Ishwarananda who met him yesterday. The man dropped him at the station. Ishwarananda arrives in Ganeshpuri, meets Bhaskar, and meantime as Ishwarananda is traveling from Goa to Ganeshpuri, the man has a cardiac arrest and he dies. And so Bhaskar sent me a message. Ishwarananda wants you to know he met him yesterday, had his meal with him, the man dropped him at the station, Ishwarananda has arrived here, and the man is gone. Now do you think in that meeting yesterday, Swami Ishwarananda has with Arjun, that there is any vikalpa, thought, that when I reach Ganeshpuri tomorrow, the man I have just had lunch with will be bye-bye? So the sage asks us, as Adi Shankara says in his Aporoksha Anubhuti, verse I love, Koham kathamidam jatam kovai kartasya vidyate upadanam kimastiha so ayam vichara idrisha. What is the thought process that should go on within myself? Who am I? Katamidam jatam. How did all of this come about? Upadanam kamasti. The carpenter found wood, saw, etc. to make this table. But how did creation, what materials were used? And who's? I read a story, I heard a story the other day. I think Fernando sent it to me. When Ronald Reagan was president, he invited the atheists for dinner. And it must be true. Because Reagan is standing there, he has organized a delicious meal. What is a full course meal, whatever it is? A banquet, like plenty of food. And he says to the atheists, no cook made this food. Ronald Reagan tells the atheist, no cook or cooks made this delicious food that you are going to have. How are you thinking? What does he want to say here? The atheist believes that there is no creator, that there is no God. This very question of Adi Shankara, koham katamidam jatam kovai kartasya vidyate upadanam kimastiha soyam vicharayitishah. As I watched this little clip, this is what came into my mind. I thought, Adi Shankara says, ask yourself, who am I? Where does all this come from? How did all this come about? Who created all of this? And what was used to create all this? When you begin to ponder in this way, you slowly put your pen away. You slowly stop being the nonsensical individual that disturbs society. You become that individual that fills society with joy, with excitement. Yevgeny shared the other day, we went to visit somebody, and that somebody said, are you always like this? She said, yes, I wake up with, yes, what can we do today? He said, can I get 2 cups of that? So when she was traveling to California to be with her sister and the baby shower and Mother's Day today, I wrote to her sister and I said, life is coming your way. And she said, really, I know. I'm exhausted. I said, you're exhausted because life is coming to you, preparing for life? Imagine if each one of us woke up every day excited of what today is. We don't know what today is. Of course, there is the calendar, there is the schedule, there is all of that. But in between all of that, there's so much else. It's so wonderfully exciting that I think to myself, there's actually not a moment to panic. If you've ever been to Disneyland, I've not been to Disney World, but you sit on one of those rides, and before the ride even begins, you look at those who've gotten off the ride, and you are excited for what the ride could be for you. And you have a choice. You can just be excited, especially those dark rides that you go through. And I've only been once, I think, maybe twice, I don't know. But memories of those and the thrilling sounds made by the individuals. And I've always thought, let's live life in that way. The mind has its days. I tell people it's like the weather. Sometimes it's cloudy, sometimes it's overcast, sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's like the aurora last night or the night before. I didn't know anything about it. All of a sudden I got bombarded with pictures. So I thought, is everybody sending me the same picture? And I looked and said, no. Somebody's sending from Southern Australia, somebody's sending from Eastern Australia, somebody's sending from California. And I was like, wow. Okay, so that means there was a phenomenon that occurred upon Earth. A geomagnetic solar storm, somewhere it was called an eruption, or whatever. Different people use different words. Nature is so amazing in what it can do, and here we are, we do a little thing, we think, oh, look at what I did. And then you look at this, and you go, one man took a picture of himself on the beach, he said, because nothing else was happening, so I took a picture of me with the aurora. However he managed that, I don't know. But I thought, wonderful. At least he had that illumination within himself. I cannot create this, but I can be a part of it. And this is what I think for each one of us in life. Maybe we don't wake up with that excitement or that enthusiasm. Yes, what can we do today? We can at least join, be a wagon in that, and go along. And just think to ourselves, how wonderful. So, I was listening to Swamiji speak the other day, and that's the one wonderful thing about YouTube. You listen to one Swami, it recommends other Swamis. You watch a particular type of joke, it recommends other jokes. You watch Hatha Yoga, it recommends different yogis. Some good, some not so good. But the Viveka, the discrimination is there in us to, after 2 minutes, to decide this person never again. Sometimes maybe skip, and maybe there's one thing that person doesn't go. So they were talking about karma. And he's a younger Mahamudeshwar, he was sitting next to the elder Acharya. He must have come in late. And Acharya Mahamudeshwar said, and now the Swami will tell us about karma. Something that will just illuminate all of us. And I thought, oh my God, what pressure. I mean, here we have a 70-plus-year-old, totally educated in the scriptures, and a 40-year-old, also educated, but lacking that 35 years of experience, meaning 40 to 75. And it's not easy, when you sit there and you feel this pressure in the whole audience. And even the people sitting have heard Swamiji and all of that. So he's talking about karma, he says all of the various verses from here and there. And then he goes, okay, you can make curd from milk, yogurt from milk. And now, how do you make that yogurt or curd back into milk? So everybody's looking, the whole audience is quiet. Does anybody here have an idea? How can you make curd back into milk? It's very simple when you hear the answer. You feed it back to the cow. So, last week, or 2 weeks ago when I was here, interesting, isn't it? Because the cow will eat it, it will go through its process, and then it will become milk again. Huh? That's not karma. Karma, yeah, it's karma. Meaning, so what should I do with my karma? So he said, offer it to the Lord. Purify, cleanse. Go back to the source. You have come from the Lord. So go back. So there's a verse we sing every day. Kalacharana kritam va, kayajam karmajam va, shravananayajam va, manasam va aparadam, vihitam avihitam va, sarvametat kshamasva, jaya jaya karunabhe, Shri Mahadeva Shambhu. And this also is attributed to Adi Shankara or to Shankaracharya. That through my hands, through my feet, through my speech, through my body, through listening, through the eyes, through the mind, whatever karma is performed by me, that which is allowed, So that it is said that I should do vihitam, avihitam, or that which I am told I should not do. Yet, we, by mistake, whatever happens. Sarvame tat kshamasya. I seek forgiveness for all of this, whatever I have done, knowingly or unknowingly. O Shambhu, I offer salutations and offer all of this at your feet. So whatever I have done, so as soon as you remove the I, because in the whole philosophy of karma, what makes us unlike these great beings is the great sage never thinks to himself or herself, I am doing this. That being is aware that I'm simply propelled by that divinity. And the vehicle, the medium through which this happens, is happening. There is no I. And so therefore, to them, all karma, before it even begins, is already offered at the feet of the Lord. And so curd becomes milk, milk becomes yogurt, yogurt becomes milk, and this cycle continues. Simple, isn't it? And you'll always eat yogurt and think, okay, how can I make it milk again? So, we can all become a team, think about upliftment of the masses, like Adi Shankara, like there's many wonderful stories you'll hear in that short lifespan of Adi Shankara's. When they talk about Sringeri, they say that it already traveled over India, around India, done a lot of whatever needed to be done, and he thought to himself, I must create a matha, a place of gathering. And he comes to Sringeri, which is on the river Tunga, and he sees this very interesting sight, a cobra with his hoods open, covering the frog that's delivering in labor pain to protect it from the heat. Now, normally a snake or a cobra would eat the frog, but here the cobra was giving shade to the frog. So Adi Shankara thought to himself, this must be a unique place. Something different about this place, something special about this place. So he creates his first matha there, his first ashram there, which still exists. Sharada is worshipped there. There's a lot that goes on. If you look at the videos from Sharada Peetham, you will find they still have Sanskrit debates. The Shankaracharya officiates at those debates. Elderly people, young people, different. I don't know how often they have them, but they have them. And so that this tradition continues, this tradition goes on. Young people don't think, what will I do? Young people won't think I'll just be a regular person. Because if I want to be a part of Shankara's team, if I want to be part of this tradition, if I cannot just be, I know some of you might be thinking about we need bus drivers. Yes. But when we started the Vidyalaya in Magod, I told everybody, all of these young people, I said, look, study and get to a certain point. At least complete your bachelor's. And then if you don't want to teach further, you don't want to study further, you simply think, I want to be the watchman at this ashram, of this ashram. Or I want to be the driver of this ashram. I want to just do whatever seva, cooking. I said, when a wise scholar comes to your ashram, speak a little bit to him in Sanskrit. Show him a little bit of your wisdom. And when he's, whoa, not bad. And if he asks you any further questions, you say, that you discuss with my acharya. That you discuss with my teacher or my guru, the master who lives here. This is my limit. So you don't, even in being regular, you don't have to think that I have to be the idiot. You can still be knowledgeable to a certain point. And we need to encourage this in our young people. Imagine what would have been Ronald Reagan's thought, I don't know. I was there when he won and Baba Muktananda was happy. And I couldn't ask Baba, why are you happy that Reagan became the president? Maybe it was just this one dinner meeting that Baba knew he was going to. I don't know. I don't know what. It was sometime in 1780, I think, and we were in Santa Monica. Ronald Friedland was the president of the SWABA. Baba, Ronald Friedland, Swami Sivananda, Baba's translator. And I don't know why I was there, because I was the odd man out. But I must have gone there for some work or some question, but I had to wait for this, debate or this news or whatever they were watching, what was going on in that moment. And just happened to be there, privy to this conversation. I don't know what was before, I don't know what was after, I don't know why. I am not going to be a commentator and comment to you. I don't know. Was he good? Was he bad? I don't know. Baba is no longer here, so we can't ask him. But the thought that something good, could, should, must happen. So for us, we have in India, Anil Nayak, who's a retired chairman, but still in a way chairman of one of the largest corporations in India, Pastor Nentugo, after us. Expand the school. Expand the school. Teach this to as many as you can. And it was wonderful that when this speaker came, the school posted that all of our students who gave the 10th, which is boards in India, 10th grade, 12th, and I think BA also, and all of them passed. All of them did well. Whenever I read this, I'm always surprised. I'm like, oh my God, how did they do it? They feel, of course, pretty proud because they feel our children are doing well. So this is today, on this day of Adi Shankara's birthday, and all of this that I shared. How can we do this? In this talk by Swami Mitrananda, he says, Swami Chinmayananji, when he talked about Adi Shankara, said he was an exquisite thinker who had a scintillating intellect, a super think tank with a vision of truth, a heart throbbing with industrious faith, because he knew he had 32 years, an ardent desire to serve the nation, and he connected the entire country through pilgrimage, sweetly emotional and relentlessly logical, the fittest spiritual general to fight the cause of the Upanishad. Of us start there. So imagine, exquisite thinker, scintillating intellect, super think tank. Three things are here. Heart throbbing with the industrious faith. A desire, karma, to serve the nation. So I heard, I don't know if it was his talk or somebody's talk during the week, as I heard to listen to different people in Adi. Somebody said, can people even understand that when he says Jagan Mithya, the world is an illusion, look at how much he did for society. So you understand or try to understand what is Adi Shankara trying to share with you when he speaks about all of this and the illusion, yet that same Adi Shankara in the few years of his life did so much. So it just goes to show that to understand the principles of truth that these sages have expounded, there needs to be so much clarity, sanity, steadfastness, and so on and so forth within each and every one of us. This is the conversation I feel we need to have. Of what can we do so we become better players, so we become a better team. There, that will grow. There, that will grow. there that will grow, there that will grow. And there are so many lying by the wayside who simply want to be picked up. And I say again and again to people as I travel, I said, what Baba Bhaktivinoda created in the 70s was amazing. We had 30 ashrams, we had 350 homes that ran satsangs, supposedly in 52 countries. This is an office that there is staff management. How right was the count? I tell people, you go around counting. I said, but does really the count matter? And there is a story of Akbar and Birbal. And so Akbar asks Birbal, how many crows in Delhi? So Birbal says 523. So Akbar says, what if there are more? He says, they have come to visit. And what if there are less? They've gone to visit. So this is just a few of the thoughts from this week only. And I'm sure that these thoughts percolate at times when different people ask questions, we receive emails, phone calls, messages. And to me, I always feel good that we are at it. We are continuing one more day, one more week, one more month. Try a month. A company is important, every 4 months, 3 months. So like everybody's like, how long are you here? How long are you here? I'm like, okay, till the end of June. Are you really here till the end of June? I said, well, that's what my ticket is. Are you sure you're going to stay here till the end of June? I said, well, anything could happen. I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow. But there's so much doubt in that mind that then you think to myself, oh my God, Madhu gave the best mantra which I often try to follow, be quiet. And I see that with people, some just smile. You ask them, how are you? They smile. Are you going? They smile. And you think to yourself, doesn't Michael is looking at me? Because Michael is one of them. In all of the years I've known him, we gave him an award some years ago. The most silent man. And he got that award from the most talkative man, Sitaram Patel. Sitaram thought he was getting the shot, but Michael heard and he knew he was getting the shot. And I think some months later, Michael wrote me, he said, at the Thanksgiving feast of the family, I told my family, I got this award. And he said, Michael, then what did you say? But it's just, I tell people, if, for me at least, that if I have survived, I said my mother was very clear when we were kids. You come for Baba. And she reminded us this on a regular basis. Don't look at the sidelines. Don't look at the other players. Don't look here and there. Be clear. What was that? Intellect, vision, clarity. My purpose is Baba. And so I tell people, if I've survived 62 years and still laughing, and if the tears are of joy, of love, it's because that clarity remains. Inspired by such beings, to think to yourself of whatever my lifespan is, what can I do in this lifespan? How much goodness, what is it, gathering goodness?